Alright, what's going on to all fixed blade knife enthusiasts out there? What's up to all outdoorsmen? That's who I think is going to be watching this video. I'm going to be showing off my fixed blade knife collection. I've already done one on my folding collection, and later I'll do one on my multi-tool collection. This is going to be a quick one in terms of, I'm not going to spend too much detail. Every single one of these knives has another video online somewhere. Some of these I've also personally reviewed, so check it out when you can. First off is the Coldsteels Super Edge. This is a really good everyday type of car knife, really good little utility knife. This K-bar skeletonized knife came with the pestless chopper. More on that later. This is in the sheath that it comes with. Next is a Coldsteels Spike. This is an excellent, well, this was actually next to my bed for a long time. This is also in my desk for a long time. Great letter opener. You know those little those hard packages that like electronics come in that normally you get like a hard pair of scissors? This thing just, you know, shreds right through it. Next is the SE4. This knife has been tried and tested. This is a great outdoor knife, great backpacker knife. Can't go wrong with the SE4. Really nice sheath, by the way. Next are a couple Moras that I have. If you're an outdoorsman, you need to have a Mora. For those who care about weight, get yourself a Mora. You can't go wrong with it. Scandi grind, excellent bushcrafter type of knife. Once again, fantastic. Then I also have a thicker version. I actually recommend the thicker version. All right, so there's also a Mora out there that's a thicker version. They make different sizes, different edges, but the principles are all the same. Next we have a Coldsteel Kuban. I never get that name right. This is an excellent tactical blade. Put this on your plate carrier, put this on your battle belt, whatever you want. But it's a very low profile with the sheath, and fantastic tactical knife. By the way, this has a hollow grind on here, and it absolutely keeps a razor edge. Very good carving knife, believe it or not. I've already done a review on this one. This is the Tops Mill Spy 5. This is kind of like a heavy-duty tactical knife slash wilderness knife. It's one of those knives that can kind of do it all. It's not the best for anything particular, but you could do a lot of different tasks with this. And it's one of those knives that you can just thrash around and not feel bad about. Next is for the love of me, love of God, give me a second. I can't pronounce the name of these two. This is what it's called. Okay, pause it. That's what this knife is called. I cannot pronounce that name for the life of me, but I have two of them. My brother got me both of them. This is the one I've been really thrashing around and using. This is actually, in my opinion, one of the best outdoor knives you could possibly get for the money. They're pretty inexpensive, and for what you get, they're absolutely excellent. By the way, I have a D-Dangler sheath for this one, and I have a Kydex sheath for this one, so you have different options. Next, we have a Coldsteel SRK. This actually has a lot of sentimental value to me. Well, number one, it's made out of carbon 5, which, by the way, is not made anymore in this type of steel. But the other thing is, the sentimental value of this knife is up there because this is actually the knife that really showed me what a fixed blade can do in the wilderness. It's because of this knife why I was able to have fire several times in the wilderness when I really needed that heat and something to cook my food with. Also, the sheath that it comes with is a real 10 out of 10. They still make the SRK, and just different steels, but check it out. I highly recommend the Coldsteel SRK. Very good knife. We have a couple Glock knives. Go with this one first. This one I've had for a long time. The good thing about Glock field knife is that you don't have to care about them. They are inexpensive, and for what you give for the price, it's just good. Pretty much indestructible. Anyone who breaks a Glock field knife, I don't know what the hell you were doing. Some kind of spring steel, handles indestructible. Low profile sheath. This one has a sawback version. This is the one I actually have in my truck bug out bag. Sawback version is designed to make little notches in wood and whatnot. But one thing about the Glock field knife, unfortunately, the factory edge sucks on this one, but this one actually came pretty sharp. Next, we have one of the big tanks of my collection. This is the Tops Outpost Command. This thing is just an absolute beast. When it comes to chopping, when it comes to splitting wood, this is one of my go-to knives for sure. This is a real 10 out of 10 type of camp knife. Maybe a little bit too big for backpacking, but when it comes to that store-bought wood that you get at Ralph's or Vaughn's or whatever, and there you are swinging it, trying to chop it and split away at the campsite, this is the knife you want to get. This is a really good camp knife. I really like this one. Because it's so beefy and so thick and just so tough, it gives me a lot of confidence knowing that knife's not going to break anytime soon. Now, this is a very big statement. Out of all the knives you see here, this is actually probably the one that if I had to leave my house and not come back, I will probably be taking this one. This is the Tex Creek XL. In my opinion, I just think it's the best all-around knife that you can get for the money. Excellent grind. Just the design of it, you can do so many different tasks with this. This thing can still chop, you can split wood, you can do every type of bushcrafting task that you want with it and more. The Tops Tex Creek XL, in my opinion, is one of the best knives ever designed. Here's the funny thing, on their Instagram they had a vote, and all the viewers voted that this one was the best medium-sized knife of their entire designs, or out of all their designs. I've also done a video about this one. This is the Missile Strike, Tops Missile Strike. This is an excellent tactical knife when it comes to all the soldiers out there, all the tactical guys out there. I would heavily modify the sheath if I were you, and now I have this on my left side in case I have my sidearm on my right side, but this is a great soldier knife. Not the best outdoor knife, by the way. It's not a good outdoor knife. Of course, any knife collector has to have a K-bar. You got to get the standard K-bar. You got to get that handle dirty, leather sheath that it comes with. I've taken this in the outdoors. It's good. It's a good outdoor blade, but the thing is, it's better for a soldier, tactical type of application. This is definitely one of my favorite. This is actually the most expensive knife in my collection. I've also done a video on this. This is the Hogue EX F01. This knife is like I said, is one of my favorites. The grip on it is excellent. 1/4 inch thick of A2 tool steel. And it cuts well, it batons well, chops excellent. Very good all-around knife. Once again, they advertise this as being a tactical knife, but I think this is more of a survival type of knife. I just love it. I have a custom sheath for this one too, by the way. Next is my newest one. I've also done a video on this. This is the Steel Eagle 107E by Tops. This is absolutely a tank of a knife that I'm very happy that I have in my collection finally. I'm still using this in the backyard, splitting wood, doing bushcrafting crap like that, you know, trying to get fires going with it. One day I hope I actually do man up and actually take this backpacking with me. That'd be really fun, just to see how heavy this thing is. But yep, I got a Steel Eagle. Next is the Ontario bayonet for the United States Marine Corps. I just like how it's kind of like a K-bar, but it's also a bayonet. Yes, it does fit on the ARs just fine. If you want to get this, make sure that a standard bayonet can still be mounted on it, because it has the same dimensions. Okay, so if your AR cannot take a standard bayonet, then it will not take this one. The sheath is absolutely excellent, by the way. It's a very, very well thought out sheath. I'm still trying to figure out a good way to carry this thing, but this is not an outdoor blade. This is definitely a soldier type of knife. So yeah. Next is a knife that has a lot of attention. This is the Tops Prather War Bowie. This is part wilderness knife, part survival knife, part tactical knife. This knife can do it all, except it's just a big beast. That tip is just wicked. It cuts like a beast too. Very good cutter knife. I really like this knife a lot when it comes to how versatile it is. Another one of my personal favorites is the Tops Longhorn Bowie. I also did a video on this one as well. Out of all my big knives, this is actually the one that I favor the most. I really just think that the chopping capability, the cutting capability of it, just the overall heavy dutiness of what a big knife can offer, I think this knife is your go-to one. And for the record, I know it's going to sound silly, if I could not take my Tex Creek XL, I would probably take this one. Just because I have so much confidence in this blade, and I just love the design. Next is getting to the real big guys. This is the BK9 made by K-Bar. I actually had an original BK9, but I broke it. And the reason why I broke it is because the edge is just so thin with this 1095 hard carbon that what happened was a little bit of the steel broke off into some store-bought wood that I have. I hit a really hard knot. And what happened was I ended up sending the knife back with the knot, and K-Bar sent me a brand new one. So I've been testing this out in the backyard. I took one of these to Yosemite one time, and it just absolutely split wood like nothing else. The BK9 is definitely a legend in the big knife community. Next, we have the Pestilus Chopper, if I said that name right. This is also made by K-Bar. Years ago, they came up with like a zombie series, a bunch of weird, wacky designs. Some of them were better than others. I picked this one up because I had a good deal on it. Also, playing around with it and using it in the backyard, it works really, really well with green wood, you know, like green vegetation, more, I don't want to call it jungle, but greener vegetation is where this knife really excels at. It will still do just fine with other dry stuff in the meantime, but I think for a greener jungle like vegetation, that this knife is what this knife will really excel at. SK5 steel, by the way. By the way, that little skinny knife, that's what this knife went with. Next is just, this guy is called a Scrama. I hope I said that right too. When my brother got me this, he sent me an email saying, hey, I got you the mother of all knives. I said, yeah, whatever. And then I pulled this thing out. I'm like, oh my God, you got to be freaking kidding me. He is not kidding. This thing is just, where to start with this, man. There are guys who build entire shelters just with this knife. This is a scandi type of freaking design. You can do your own research on it. I like how it has two different grinds out here. There's a small grind here, a big grind up there. A lot of chopping, a lot of splitting capabilities. Just one hell of a beast. I really like it, how I have this one in my collection. Next are some bayonets that I have from my Mauser. This is the standard one. I'm not too sure about the history, but this is actually the more ideal one. I do have a nice metal sheath that just goes with it. Great little bayonet. Not little bayonet, but great bayonet. This one I picked up at a gun show one time. This is like a World War I type, but here's what's funny. The handguard spring unfortunately slipped off, and I did not know that this thing was protruding a little bit further, and the muzzle brake or the muzzle blast knocked this handle. Actually cut the handle in half with a blast of it. It still works just fine. One of these days I'm going to get a replacement handle and place it on there, and it's just fine. The funny thing is, when I take this out and I show it off to the guys, oh my gosh, dude, every guy just wants to, they just want to see this freaking long bayonet. I don't know why. It's just so freaking cool. Let's get into some tomahawks. And actually, do you know what? Where are my manners? I skipped the two right here. Here is my Coldsteels Safekeeper. What's it called? Yeah, Safekeeper. I totally forgot the name of it. This is a great self-defense knife. The power goes off and doesn't come back on. This is definitely going to be a knife I want to have on me. It gives me a lot of confidence, and it's honestly just a very wicked design. Another push dagger that a friend of mine got me for her birthday. Has some kind of Damascus steel that's starting to rust, so I'll have to oil that up and resharpen it, rebrush off the rust. But yeah, another push dagger type of design. And let's go up to where the tomahawks are. In case if I'm gonna get distracted one more time. This is a I saw this on Instagram and decided to give it a try. I'm still playing with it, but the whole point is you're able to drill wood. This type of angle right here, you're able to make pegs and notches and that kind of stuff like that with this thing. It works better if it's green wood versus dry wood. This actually works very well, and I'm starting to really play with this, and I'm starting to really enjoy it. Nice bushcrafting tool. The Coldsteel tomahawks. Coldsteel's been making tomahawks for quite some time. Some have been used far more than others. As you can see, this one I haven't barely even used. This one, these three have actually been used quite a bit. This one I like to just play with it and take it on the camping sites. I like how it has a hammerhead. I prefer a hammerhead because I just use it a lot. So this stays in the garage a lot. What's also kind of fun about Coldsteel tomahawks is how you can take a wood burner and just make some custom fun little designs, whatever you want to do with it. But yeah, they're very customizable. Got a couple machetes that actually do get used. I will use these things in the backyard to clear out the brush. I forgot what this one's called. It's called like a Borang. Sorry if I got that name wrong. This one is made by I think called Elkhorn or Elk Ridge. And the handle is excellent. This is a very comfortable machete that I can use all day. I much prefer this design. The thing about machetes is it's one of those things where it's better to have it not need it than to need it and not have it. Alright, let's talk about some throwing knives. I've had these throwing knives for quite some time. I think like 15, 17 years, getting up there now. Actually longer than that. These things don't really get too much use out of these days just because it's kind of hard to find a piece of wood to throw it at. Just some cheap kind of steel, but I actually like these ones more than these ones. These small ones I've had for a long time. Here's what's funny, is that throwing stars, I'm actually scratching my head. Like, I don't know how throwing stars are illegal in some states. Some states you actually can't have throwing stars, and I have no idea why. Like, it's just a 4 or 5 sharp piece of metal. Like, that's all it is. And yet somehow, for whatever reason, you can't get these in certain states. Whatever. I will say, throwing stars are fun. Okay? If you can get some throwing stars, get them. You can pick them up in Hawaii for freaking, I don't know how you can get them in Hawaii, but whatever. Throwing stars are just fun because, well, one, I don't know how a ninja carries these things, but when you throw it and it sticks, it's just a really cool thing to experience. Overall, once again, this is all the fixed blades that I have in my collection. What I will do after this video is I will type out more notes in the description down below. Please read up on it, because I do want to talk about some of these knives in particular that really stand out to me, and I think hopefully somebody out there might want to hear more of what I want to say. Looking at how much time I have on my timer right here, let's talk about some sheaths as I get rid of these freaking coat hangers. So, sheaths are very important to me when it comes to fixed blades. There's all kinds of different sheaths. There's all kinds of better quality ones, good ones, less ones. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I much prefer custom sheaths because you get exactly what you want. For me, I'm a big fan of the D-dangler system. I think a dangler system makes things very easy when it comes to carrying bigger, heavier knives. When you go from something like what Tops originally offers, this is a very common type of sheath that Tops offers, and then you contact an individual who knows how to make a really nice sheath, and then they can obviously make that for you. Of course, you're going to spend more, but when you're spending $170 on a freaking knife, you might as well go that extra mile, and you might as well just get a sheath that really works for you. Once again, I can't stress enough how much better it is to have a nice sheath for a knife that you really like. By the way, going back, here's that Kydex sheath, and here's that D-dangler system I have for that blade right here too. Goes really good with it. Here's the other record. Here's that USMC scabbard or sheath that it comes with. Excellent sheath, very well thought out. And I've already talked about how I like my custom sheaths. I'm trying to think of anything else that I can wrap up in the meantime. I will say the best way that you can get the most out of your knife is seriously just go backpacking. Get a backpack, get some buddies that you know, grab some supplies, go to an area where you know you can have fire, and see how well your blades hold out for you. I think for example, my SRK, you'll get to know a lot about your knife when you really need to use it. Okay, so that's the one fun thing about using a knife in the wilderness. You're gonna get to really know that blade when you need that wood, and you need to get that fire going. So yeah, I say get your hands dirty, go outside, grab a knife that you like, and go split some wood, guys. I hope this video was informative to somebody out there. To anyone that has actually watched this, thank you for watching.